The play-in round between teammates for the Madden 13 cover is now over, and we're down to the 32 finalists. The first matchup is between Cam Newton and LeGarrette Blount, two guys that I picked to advance to the final 32. And actually, speaking of, I did quite a good job with my selections in the opening round, only choosing 5 wrong. Not too bad. So Cam Newton, LeGarrette Blount, not really a tough call here. Cam Newton is most likely going to the Final Four, as I said in the previous video. And Blount, well, it's Cam Newton. I mean, Blount doesn't really stand a chance. Then you've got Antonio Gates and Dwight Freeney. It's a solid matchup. Gates actually advanced to the second round over Phillip Rivers, and I have to say, that's a huge upset in my mind. I always thought that QBs were far more popular than other positions, but based on round 1, it looks like I was wrong. Both Rivers and Andy Dalton got beat by a tight end and a wide receiver. And not to mention that Troy Polamalu actually beat Ben Roethlisberger. I didn't see that coming at all. So I honestly have no idea who to pick here. Both players are maybe the best in the game at their position, and also are both on teams on a downward spiral. You know, the Chargers and Colts, they used to be two of the most used teams in the game. I remember for a few years around Madden 08, these two teams were being used by everyone. But after the Colts' disastrous season, and the Chargers losing Vincent Jackson, who was really maybe the only reason people even used the Chargers this year, well, it's pretty crazy how things change. I'll pick Antonio Gates to advance to the second round. Speaking of things changing, LeSean McCoy actually beat Michael Vick. That is absolutely crazy. I would have bet money that Vick wouldn't just win that matchup, but he would win easily. I'm so happy to know that Michael Vick's popularity has taken a hit. But then I heard today from someone on thegamerslab.com that Vick was on his Twitter account telling people to vote for McCoy and not him. So that kind of ruined my fun. But even still, I don't need to worry about Vick possibly being on the cover, and I couldn't be happier. So overrated. So how much of an impact was it that Vick was telling people to vote for McCoy? I mean, I wish he didn't do that, because I was really curious to see how much of an effect winning a rushing title or receiving title and so on would have on popularity. I think it probably means a lot. But I think McCoy's going to have a little bit of a battle on his hands with Reggie Bush. Bush is really popular, and now that the Dolphins are the disgrace organization of the league, I bet Dolphin fans will be so bored that they'll have nothing better to do than just sit online all day and vote for Reggie Bush for the cover. You know, I gotta say, the Dolphins are brutal. I'm a diehard Dolphins fan, and having a team that is such a disgrace, I can't even imagine how Lions fans and Saints fans and Cardinals fans felt for all those years. Did you know that from 1970 to 2003, we only had 2 seasons under 500? 2 in 33 years. Now look at us. I pick LeSean McCoy. What an interesting matchup this is. Larry Fitzgerald and Troy Polamalu shared the cover of Madden 10, my favorite Madden ever, by the way, and now they face off head-to-head for the sole cover of Madden 13. I was really surprised to see Polamalu even get out of round 1, but he did. So, maybe he's more popular than I thought. I just can't see him getting past Larry Fitzgerald, though, so I'm going to take Fitz to advance. Now, Matt Forte versus my underdog pick, Patrick Willis. I really like Forte a lot, but I honestly think Willis runs away with this one early in the tournament. MJD versus Sebastian Janikowski. This is like a bye for Jones Drew. A kicker shouldn't even be in this vote. If NFL players barely even respect kickers, then how the heck do they stand a chance in a vote for the front cover of an NFL football game? MJD easily wins this, and that's even taking into account all the idiots that will vote for Janikowski just because they think it would be funny to see a kicker on the cover. I bet that EA would lie about the results of the votes before they would let that happen. Darrelle Revis versus Stevie Johnson. Generally, this would be easy for Revis, but Considering that Stevie Johnson and Game just collaborated on a song together, Stevie Johnson might just have a chance. Game, or The Game, or whatever he wants to call himself, is known for having Madden 2 to 3 weeks before it hits the stores, and getting his record really high to be ranked #1. By cheating, of course. So I wonder what he has up his sleeve for Stevie Johnson and the Madden 13 cover. If Stevie Johnson ends up on the cover, we all know who's behind it. The Game and his cheating ass. Victor Cruz is a guy that I'm starting to think actually has a good chance to win this thing. A lot of non-Giants fans really like this guy, including me. Arakpo doesn't stand a chance here, and I actually think that the play-in round had a lot more close matchups when it was teammates going head-to-head. I mean, this one is pretty obvious, like a lot of the matchups are in this round. So hopefully the video isn't too boring. I mean, what can be said about a matchup between Victor Cruz and Brian Arakpo? We all know that Cruz is going to win this one easily. Aaron Rodgers and Joe Haden is another one of those boring, no-brainer matchups where no one in their right mind would pick Joe Haden. So as a farewell to Joe Haden in this Madden 13 cover vote, I just want to say, Joe, you were a top 5 cornerback in Madden 12, and if you would have played on a team that was more popular, people would have seen that. But you were a beast, and I drafted you in every fantasy draft Madden league that I was in this year. But good riddance, dude. You're going to get blown out by Aaron Rodgers. Marshawn Lynch and Chris Johnson is a matchup between two guys who played on two of the most underrated teams in Madden 12. Chris Johnson, of course, is a beast, and on All Madden especially, where the blocking is far superior to All Pro, Johnson was almost unstoppable. The way that he could outrun the defense to the sideline and head upfield was ridiculous. And the Titans have a stellar offense in Madden this year. I mean, Jake Locker's a beast at QB with good speed. They've got really nice wide receivers. Nate Washington's one of the easiest wide receivers to spec catch with this year, and he's only 6'1". Jared Cook's one of the game's best tight ends, and Kenny Britt, of course, is a beast. So that is one hell of an offense, and same with Seattle. I mean, these guys are easily a top 10 team in Madden 12. Marshawn Lynch specifically, like, I'm not one who likes to use slow halfbacks, but damn, Marshawn is nasty. This dude breaks tackles like it's nothing. So this is a really close call, but I'm going to go with Chris Johnson. AJ Green is a guy that I did not expect to be here, and he's going up against a very popular player, Ray Rice, who was on the cover of NFL Blitz this year. Now, wouldn't that be odd if one guy made it onto the cover of 2 EA NFL games in the same year? Well, as much as people like Ray Rice, I highly doubt that's going to happen. That said, though, I do like him to take out AJ Green this round. Drew Brees and Matt Ryan. Now, let's talk about Drew Brees for a second. How much is it going to hurt Drew Brees this year that Sean Payton has been suspended for the entire year? I really like Payton as a coach, and him and Brees are like two peas in a pod. So it's going to be real interesting to see how that plays out for Brees and for the New Orleans offense. Now, Matt Ryan, as I stated last week, is a likable guy, but this dude, in my eyes, is a pretty big disappointment so far when you consider his playoff performances. So either way, I don't think he stands any chance of beating Drew Brees, but Brees won't go that far because he was already on the cover in Madden 11, so who really wants to see that again? Now this is a nice matchup. Two stud wide receivers head to head. I really like Dwayne Bowe a lot, and as good as he is in Madden compared to the rest of the wideouts, I actually think he's better in the real NFL in comparison. This guy makes crazy catches, he runs great routes, and gets open. And I think we're going to hear a lot more of Dwayne Bowe in the years to come. But Megatron is just so sick. Plus, he's got the best nickname in the league. I mean, Megatron, come on. And as good as Randy Moss was in older versions of Madden, if Calvin was in those games, like in 04 and 05, I think he would have even been better. I think overall, and even taking ratings into account, Calvin Johnson is the best wide receiver in Madden history. I mean, it's close. Moss was nasty, but Calvin is the greatest of all time, and he easily advances to the next round. It didn't take Denver long at all to trade Tim Tebow, did it? I mean, everyone knew that John Elway and John Fox thought this guy was trash, and who could blame them? But after what Tebow did for you, I mean, I'm not saying I don't go out and get Manning. Of course you do. But to trade Tebow a day later, like as if you just couldn't wait to get rid of the guy, I mean, call it luck, call it whatever, but this dude Tebow did some crazy shit last year. And if you're going to trade him to the Jets, where he's going to be a backup, why not have him in Denver to be a backup? Is Mark Sanchez coming off a surgery that I don't know about, and maybe the Jets need a quarterback to come in case of injury? No, that's Denver, who just signed Peyton Manning, who had 3 neck surgeries in the last year. That was a dumb move. Now, Tebow has a real tough matchup versus Arian Foster, and maybe I'm crazy, but I just see Tebow going to the Final Four and maybe winning this thing. Guys, am I crazy? Damn, another great matchup between Jared Allen and DeMarcus Ware. 2 of the most used teams in Madden over the past 5 to 10 years, the Minnesota Vikings and the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I'm really torn here. This has got to be the toughest matchup to pick. I think a lot of people would assume DeMarcus Ware, but I'm going to go with an underdog pick this time. I think people love Jared Allen. I love Jared Allen. So that's my upset pick for this round. Finally, a matchup between 2 players who are on the same team. Brandon Lloyd, who was originally the Rams candidate, got traded to the Patriots last week, which was actually a pretty good move by New England, especially since Lloyd, he barely got paid. So he clearly wants to win a championship. The Gronk, though, he's nasty. Everyone loves the Gronk. And I used the Patriots maybe 5 times in Madden this year, and literally the only reason I even considered using them was Rob Gronkowski. So he advances to the next round in a blowout. So I hope you guys are having fun following the Madden 13 tournament vote. This round was a little less exciting, but next week promises to be very good as we get 50% closer to finding out who will be on the cover of next year's game. Also, don't forget to subscribe, and remember to go to thegamerslab.com for the largest Madden community. We've got forums where every day people are talking about everything from how to stop some of the game's best formations to debates on who will win the Super Bowl, and ebooks and paid tips from a former Madden Challenge winner. We also offer a ton of free tips and schemes, a lot of which that you can find right here on this YouTube channel. So I'll catch you guys next week.